in front of one of the most powerful people of that day. Joseph interpreted the dream. The Pharaoh was so impressed, he made Joseph the prime minister, second in command. I can imagine that meeting took no longer than an hour. Joseph walked in a slave in prison. An hour later, he walked out the prime minister. You don't know what God can do in an hour. He can take years of heartache, years of God has in your future can't be accomplished on your own. The places He's going to take you, you can't get there by yourself. There will be obstacles too big, dreams that seem impossible. You're going to need assistance for where you're going. The good news is God has put something on you that gives you an advantage, something that will open doors you can't open, something that will make you stand out in the crowd. It's called favor. Favor will cause good breaks to come to you. Favor will take you from the background to the foreground. Favor will give you preferential treatment, things you don't deserve. You weren't next in line, but you got the promotion. On paper, it didn't make sense, but the loan went through. That person that was so against you, for some reason they changed. Now they're for you. That wasn't a coincidence. That was the favor of God. And we can work hard, be faithful, be diligent. That's important, but that will only take us to a certain level. We'll go as far as our education, as far as our background allows. But when God breathes His favor on you, things will happen that you couldn't make happen. Opportunity that you didn't see coming. The right people will track you down. I've heard it said, one touch of favor is worth more than a lifetime of labor. Just one good break, one phone call, meeting one right person will catapult you to a new level. You've worked hard, you've been faithful, you've honored God. Now get ready for favor. Get ready for God to show out. He's about to do something unusual, something that you haven't seen. Good breaks that you didn't work for. God will put you in a situation so He can show you His favor. One definition of favor is to endorse, to bring to prominence, to give notoriety. If you ask someone to endorse your book, you find a person that has more influence, more credibility, a bigger following. When they put their name on your book, because they have such prominence, that instantly gives you more credibility. Oprah Winfrey used to have her book club. When she would endorse a book, the author may not have been known. Nobody's ever heard of them. Without the endorsement, the book would sell a couple thousand copies. But when she got on her talk show, said, this is a great book, you should read it, that simple endorsement would cause it to sell hundreds of thousands of copies. And it's great to have people's endorsement, but you need to get ready. The creator of the universe is about to endorse you. God is going to make things happen so big, so amazing, that people will know it couldn't have been you. The medical report said you were done. How'd you get well? God endorsed you. His favor caused you to overcome what looked impossible. How'd your business get so successful? How'd you get so far ahead? We went to the same school. God endorsed you. He showed His favor so people would know you belong to Him. This is what happened to Daniel in the scripture. Favor didn't keep Daniel out of trouble. The trouble was a setup for God to endorse Daniel, to bring him into prominence. Daniel was a teenager living in a foreign country. The king made a decree that no one could pray to any god except the king's God. Well, Daniel worshiped Jehovah. He made this decision. He wasn't going to compromise, so he kept praying like normal. Some people saw him, ran and told the king. The king had Daniel thrown into a den of hungry lions. That should have been the end, but for some reason, the lions couldn't open their mouths. I can hear those lions talking, I'm hungry. I want to eat this guy, but my jaws are messed up. Favor doesn't keep you out of the lion's den, but favor will keep the lions from harming you. The next morning, the king went to check on Daniel. When he found out he was okay, he said, from now on, we're all going to worship the God of Daniel. Well, Joel, maybe that was a lucky break. Maybe the lions weren't hungry that day. When they brought Daniel out, the king had them throw the people in that were against Daniel. Before they hit the bottom of the pit, the lions tore them apart. People saw that. They knew the Lord was on Daniel's side. God is going to do some things that bring you into prominence, into new levels of influence, credibility. People can debate what you say, but they can't debate what they see. When they see you running the company, paying your house off, graduating with honors, when they see you breaking the addiction, beating the cancer, when God endorses you, You come out of the lion's den unharmed. You accomplish dreams way over your head. They will know His hand is on your life. God is about to bring you into greater prominence. You've been in the background long enough, serving faithfully, helping others. Joseph's brothers threw him into a pit. They eventually sold him into slavery. He was falsely accused, put in prison for something he didn't do. All the odds were against him. But the scripture says Joseph had favor in everything that he did. One thing I've learned is you can't keep a favored man down. You can't keep a favored woman down. You may have some obstacles, situations that are not fair. That doesn't mean you don't have favor. Challenges come to us all, but favor is why you're not going to stay down. Favor is why you're going to rise back to the top. And Joseph spent 13 years in the background, being overlooked, mistreated. There were plenty of lonely nights. He didn't get bitter. He kept doing the right thing. And one day the Pharaoh had a dream that no one could interpret, so they brought Joseph in. Now he was standing in front of one of the most powerful people of that day. Joseph interpreted the dream. The Pharaoh was so impressed, he made Joseph the prime minister, second in command. I can imagine that meeting took no longer than an hour. Joseph walked in a slave in prison. An hour later, he walked out the prime minister. You don't know what God can do in an hour. He can take years of heartache, years of being overlooked, years of praying, believing, not seeing any good breaks, and in an hour, not just deliver you, not just bring a dream to pass, but do something that catapults you to a new level of your destiny. How can this happen? The favor on your life. When God breathes on you, supernatural doors will open. Obstacles that look permanent will turn around. People that were against you will suddenly be for you. Years later, Joseph's brothers came to the palace looking for food, the same ones that threw him into the pit. There was a great famine in their country, and they had traveled to Egypt. Well, now Joseph was in charge of the food supply, the prime minister. They did their best to keep him down, but God knows how to endorse. He knows how to put you in a position of prominence. You may kind of feel like you're in a pit today. Don't get discouraged. We all have pit stops along the way in life. The good news is that is not your final destination. God has an endorsement coming. Now, I've learned the greater the opposition, the greater the endorsement. The more the enemy tries to pull you back, the more you're going to go forward. Just like a bow and arrow, he thinks he's pulling you back to hinder you. He doesn't realize he's setting you up to shoot further than you've ever imagined. When God says it's time, you're going to shoot into prominence, shoot into new levels of influence, leadership, respect, income, credibility. When the brothers saw Joseph, but by the Most High God, He's going to do things that are out of your league, things that you couldn't make happen. Not only amazes you, but people around you are going to be amazed. But people congratulated me for getting the Compact Center. I thought, if you only knew. Yes, I prayed, I believed, but God made things happen that I could have never made happen. The scripture says God will turn the heart of a king. God turned council members that had been against us for years. Suddenly they were for us. Right now, God is working behind the scenes in your life. He is setting you up for an endorsement, setting you up for something that you've never seen. Promotion, influence, relationships that will thrust you to a new level. But that city council vote probably took 10 minutes. The mayor brought the motion to the floor. There was a little discussion. Then they went around the table and 14 council members voted. It's amazing what God can do in 10 minutes. That 10 minutes changed the course of my life. It's amazing what God can do in an hour. Joseph meeting with the Pharaoh. It's amazing what God can do overnight. Daniel protected in the lion's den. God has some of these destiny moments already lined up for you. You can't see it now. If He showed you, you'd think there's no way. But when God endorses you, it's not like people showing you favor. When God does it, it catapults you ahead. It's not going to take a long time. Yes, you have to be faithful. Joseph was in trouble for 13 years, but it only took him an hour to get out. He didn't see it coming. He woke up that morning thinking it was another ordinary day. He didn't know that was his day to be endorsed. He didn't know that day was a destiny moment. What God has for you is going to happen unexpectedly. You're doing the right thing, honoring. But one day the king was looking for a new queen. He decided to have a nationwide beauty contest where he would choose the next queen. The king sent people out looking for young ladies, and They brought Esther back and put her in the contest. Well, Esther had never been groomed to be a queen, never had the training. She didn't come from a prominent family. They lined all the young ladies up in front of the king. They were all beautiful, all wearing the latest fashion, all had the best hair and makeup. I could imagine the king looked at their resumes. Some of them came from wealth and influence. Some had impressive resumes, great educations, standouts in their field. There were plenty of obvious choices, but for some reason, the king chose Esther, an orphan, a foreigner. When God endorses you, it will cause you to stand out. His favor will cause you to be preferred. They could have chosen anyone for the contract. For some reason, they chose you. They could have bought any house in the neighborhood. For some reason, they liked yours best. There were plenty of students that deserved the scholarship. For some reason, they picked you. God knows how to make you attractive. He knows how to make people like you. Sometimes they don't even know why. They can't put their finger on it. There's just something about you. That's God smiling down on you. Well, Joel, this sounds good, but I don't have the training. I don't have the experience. Neither did Esther. Favor is more powerful than your resume. Favor will take you where you don't have the qualifications. Favor will open doors where you look up and think, how did I get here? I was the least likely one. Esther never dreamed of becoming a queen. That wasn't even on her radar. But when you come into that day, when God endorses you, He will bring you into prominence that you've never imagined. He'll cause opportunity to come to you. Esther wasn't looking for that position. The position came to her. She went from the background to the foreground. Later, Esther used her position to save the Jewish people from a plot to destroy them. I believe one reason God gave her such prominence is He knew she would use the influence to fulfill her purpose. Favor is not about having a bigger house, a better car, more stuff. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not why God is going to favor you. It's to fulfill your purpose. It's to advance His kingdom. When your dreams are tied to helping others, to making the world a better place, to lifting the fallen, then you will come into some of that days where God will shine more than you've ever imagined. When God can trust you,